It doesn't say what the cause is. What causes powdery mildew? Develops quickly when days are warm and dry. Blah, blah, blah. The first sign.
Doesn't say what the cause is.
But it doesn't even say what the disease is. Fuck you. So what's going on at the moment? My peas are looking... They're just not growing, man. I've had them in the ground for fucking ages, and they're just not doing anything. And I made these fucking trellises for them, and it should be small enough for them to wrap around. Like, I started with bits of wood. I was like, oh, they'll climb up the wood, but then they weren't climbing the wood at all, and I was like, that was a dumb idea. Let me make something that their little boys can wrap around. So I put the woolen trellis there that I've made, and I thought maybe that would help, but it's not helping. They're not growing. And now I've seen they've got like little white powdery kind of dust stuff on their leaves, and I looked that up, and apparently it's mildew. So let me I can't remember exactly what was said. What was said on the topic of mildew? Treating powdery mildew of peas on fucking gardeningknowhow.com. Poorly drained soil and restricted air circulation can contribute to development of the disease. I'll show you how poorly drained this soil is. Look at how slow the water is to seep into the soil. Why are you taking such a long time for under the soil? You only want a little can of water, and you're taking so long. Your mother will be ashamed. Yeah, so that's one thing. The soil is quite poorly drained. And also just the mildew itself, like what is it? What causes it? Something, the spores. It doesn't actually say what causes it on this. Symptoms and treatment. It doesn't say what the cause is. Oh, fuck you. What causes powdery mildew? Develops quickly when days are warm and dry. Blah, blah, blah. The first sign. Oh, this fucking page. They're so concerned with fucking search engine optimization and keywords. They haven't even said, at the bottom it says more susceptible to sunburn. Eventually the leaves may develop black spots, which are actually the spores. But it doesn't even say what the disease is. Fuck you. This fucking article sucks. I'm gonna get a better article. Don't go on gardeningknowhow.com. Alright, everyone? How do you treat powdery mildew? Milk spray. I've read a bit about this, about milk spray. Fill a spray bottle. Most experts advise using a mixture with a 40-60 ratio of milk to water. Oh, that's not what my peas look like. Fucking that picture is disgusting. Fuck, that's horrific. What have they done to those plants? Oh, God. Take a screenshot of that. Yucky. Ew. How to use milk spray to control powdery mildew. Powdery mildew refers to a group of fungal disease. Now that's what I'm talking about, man. Tell me, explain me the things that all show up as a powdery white coating on plants, especially when humidity is high. Ew. It usually doesn't kill plants, but it can weaken them and lead to poor growth and yield. Keeping your plants healthy will minimize damage, but sometimes you need the aid of a fungicide. However, that doesn't mean you have to use chemicals. From powdery mildew, try a milk spray. So the three things are drainage, airflow, and then this fucking milk spray shit. Those are the three solutions. I've actually got another bunch of plants behind me that are new that I don't think have the powdery mildew, but they are in poorly drained soil. And I planted them from seed. So I planted these ones from seedlings that I got from Bunnings like a month and a half ago. And the ones behind me I've planted from seed. I do have some more over the back. So I'm going to leave those around the back of the house. I'll just film them real quick so you can see where they're at. Then over here, this one with the trellis, I'm going to pull up the trellis but keep it intact. Pull up those pea plants and replace all of the soil there with some potting mix so that it's like better drained soil. But the seedlings over there that I planted have grown in that soil since day one. So I'm just going to let them keep growing in that soil, but I am going to spray them with the milk spray as a preventative measure, and then I guess we'll see whether it's the well-drained soil or if it's the milk spray. And the ones over there that don't have any milk spray, I'm just going to let them go and see what happens to them. Here's one thing that I've learned. There's little nodes on the roots that are apparently nitrogen being stored that the plant has taken from the air, and they get stored on the roots. And that's why when you use these plants as cover crops or, green manure, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that nitrogen there, when you dig the plant back into the ground, gets put back into the soil, and then your summer crops can use it. How cool is that? So that's why it's good to plant these plants in the winter period, because they don't need a lot of nitrogen in the soil, and they actually make your soil more nitrogen rich in preparation for the growing season in like spring and summer. So you put plants like tomatoes that need a lot of nitrogen in the soil in after them, and they grow like they blow like the bejesus. The nodules. I'm going to put this potting mix in the ground. This is the Green Gardener multi-purpose potting mix, a specifically formulated mix, sustainable for most plant types. 25 litres, cost me like $4. You'd want to hope it's fucking specially formulated. Why do they write shit like that? Hey, specially formulated mix. It's like, well, yeah, of course, you made it on purpose. It's not an accident. If it's not specially formulated, it's just like, yeah, we put some stuff in a bag and we're just selling it to you as potting mix. No, you formulated this especially so that you could call it potting mix. Otherwise, it'd just be your fucking sticks and an old bike, and you would not put that in the ground. While I was digging in that ground, just that bit there, that's how many tiles and shit I found in the fucking ground. So that's how long it's been since someone dug this up. No wonder the ground isn't draining very well, like the soil isn't draining very well. It's because it's never been cultivated for gardening. Look how much faster that drains, dude. Look at it drain. Fuck ASMR videos, man. Give me videos of someone pouring large amounts of water into well-drained soil. That's the kind of shit that'll put hairs on your chest. We're not gonna hog all of the moisture on the top level of the soil. It's gonna go through and evenly drain so that the roots can develop good structure. Yeah! I'm losing my mind, I think. Now, the next thing is I'm gonna do my little milk spray here. I've got that is a 60% water that I want, so I guess I want to fill the milk up to almost twice that. I've only got so much milk, so I'm just gonna use I'm spilling it. I'm just gonna use all my milk, whatever. I put some milk in there. You're supposed to spray early in the day while it's sunny so that the moisture doesn't stay on the leaves, because moisture staying on the leaves is what helps the mildew spread. Apparently, it's like midday, but it's a pretty sunny day. I fucking decided, man, the ones around the other side, I wasn't going to spray them with mildew. They were going to be my control, but they just looked so fucked. There was like way more mildew on the ones around there than there was on these ones. And there's no mildew on the ones that I grew from seed. But yeah, those ones around the side, they really looked like they had like a bit, I could see like the furriness. It really was gross. So I sprayed those. I sprayed them all with milk. All right, let's build a trellis. Oh, actually, I just remembered why I planted the stuff around this side. The dirt isn't bad. I composted here like 2 months ago. Yes, brother. There he is. He's shitting on my hand. So hopefully, the soil underneath these guys won't be all heavy and shit, because I put a bunch of organic matter down there. So it's gonna be, like, it'll be better. I just remembered because this stick went into the ground so easy. And I was like, why's that gone in so easy? Oh, because I fucking, the compost. Yes, man. This is what gardening's all about. Doing shit and then fucking forgetting that you did it. And then remembering months later. All right. So now this is completely different. This test is now, is my composted soil as good as the fucking potting mix that you can buy from the store? This is like a whole different video now. But pew, pew, come on. That's exciting, isn't it?
Pew, pew.
What have I learned in this video today? What have we learned? We've learned you can dig up half of your garden, find a bunch of tiles, and then realize pretty quickly that that's probably why your peas haven't been growing that well in the garden. We've learned to dig up the garden before you plant something, if this is the first time you planted shit in this one spot. A lot of gardening videos, it's almost like they assume that you've been gardening there for ages and you know what your soil is. No one's ever really addressing the start, like when you for the first time walk out in your backyard and see it not as a place to like piss in when you're drunk, but as a place where you can cut all the weeds down and actually plant stuff and grow stuff there. All of the gardening videos, it kind of feels like they assume a certain level of knowledge. I want them to treat me worse. I want them to treat me like I'm a fucking idiot, because I am. I don't know anything. If you're going to start gardening, what you probably should do is go out into the garden and then start composting first thing. Dig up some fucking areas and start putting kitchen scraps in there, or start a compost pile is the first thing you should do. But that's no fun. That's the shit that you want to do after you've seen how it works. Like if someone said to me to start a garden, you first need to start a compost pile, I would have been like, well then I'm fucking not gardening then. Fuck that. Because you want to see the results. Compost is boring. The exciting bit of gardening is watching the plants grow. But what you really probably should do is if you're planting stuff in your garden for the first time is fucking dig up all the soil and try and build the soil up before you plant stuff, but that's not what's going to happen. So I reckon the next best thing is to dig up the soil to a certain level and put potting mix in there, so you can just plant into your potting mix. I've also learned, fuck man, when you see stuff on the leaves of your plants, check it straight away. I've been seeing that white stuff for like weeks on the leaves of my snow peas, but I just never really checked what it was, and looking into that kind of made me, then I started to look up what's mildew, and I saw that it's this fungus, and the way that it can be a condition that can lead to it happening is poorly drained soil. And I was like, well, so everything just comes back to soil, man. I shouldn't be calling this the backyard bitch. I should be calling this little dirt boy. This gardening show is now called the Little Dirt Boy. Welcome to the Little Dirt Boy. I'm Aidan Jones, and I am the Little Dirt Boy. Nah, it's still called the Backyard Bitch. Fuck off, it's a way better name. If you got any tips for me or anything like that as well, as always, hit me up, backyardb69@gmail.com. Subscribe, leave a comment down there in the comment section if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, like the video, and I will see you next time. I love you.